Sapphire Stars. There are galaxies, planets, and creatures beyond counting in this vast universe. In one galaxy, however, and on one such planet, there were many spirits, angels, demons, and other beings both alive and dead. The scurrying creatures on this unlikely world roamed scorched sands. Cruel rays from three competing suns surrounding the planet permeated a jagged surface. Tiny specks of dust impeded what little breathing did occur. Limbless creatures glided across the land and filled their bellies with flesh of smaller, weaker life forms. The flying beasts patrolled the skies as the most dangerous predators. Foreign creatures often inspected this planet too, conducting tireless searches for strategic resources that fueled their wars and equally provided harvests needed to rebuild the wreckage their very wars caused. A human family also lived on this planet, seeking safety from conflict. They thought they found it, but the harsh atmosphere was no easier for them. The family's son, Razil, was a curious boy, small, slender, and hungry. He stared at the sparkling stars each night and wondered how each of them were born. The glimmering cosmos stretched far beyond the sun surrounding him. Out there was a better world, a cleaner, safer, and more vibrant home for him and his family. He greedily clung to his belief as the realities of hardship snatched at him. He yearned to hold the stars in his hands. He picked two in the night sky, reached for them, and imagined grasping their warm, illuminating light. His fist blocked the glows, but as he dropped his arms, there they remained. These two stars shimmered with the most fascinating light, that hung as silvery sapphire ovals, eclipsed with the unique energy that drew Brazil in. Why do the sapphire stars shine differently? Brazil thought to himself. Yano would know. The small boy donned his tiny titanium body armor and braced himself against the stormy sands. He trekked over the paths created by his family and avoided the prowling creatures. Many dangers lurked beneath the surface. He had to tread carefully. Brazil found Yano in a nearby scavenging site, a wise and colorless shapeshifter. Yano glided across the clearing with his eyes fixated on the dirt. He scanned for precious metals or gemstones that could fetch a high price. Yano, Brazil said through the translator in his mask. Do you know why the two sapphire stars are different from the others in the sky? Aha! Hello there, little one, Yano said. A constant low warble ascended his voice. Yes, those stars belong to a god. That is why they shine differently. Which god do they belong to? A sad god, said Yano. How can a god be sad, Yano? Aha! Come with me, little one. I will show you. Yano encircled Brazil in a transparent magical sphere that filled with oxygen and lifted them into the starry sky. He carried the boy up to the sapphire stars. Their brightness temporarily blinded Brazil, but the boy understood what Yano meant. Despair radiated from them, and the color in each one dulled at every pulse. Go look closer, Yano whispered. Brazil approached the edge of the bubble and stared through the sapphire stars. In that moment, frozen hands touched his face. Burning fingers stroked his arms. Scarlet droplets poured over his head. Tormented screams vibrated his eardrums. Pain-inflicted flesh and anguish filled the minds of living souls. In the next moment, Brazil snapped awake. He gasped for the little oxygen left within the sphere and realized it was all an illusion, albeit one that reflected reality. Do you see why this god is sad? Asked Yano gently, and pulled the boy into an embrace. The sapphire stars are this god's tears for those in misery. Why won't the god help them? Aha! It very well could, but that would require sacrifice, little one, said Yano. Gods don't want to die, don't want to sacrifice themselves, so they cry instead. That seems selfish. Aha, but we are all selfish creatures, even me, Best learn that now rather than later, little one. Before Yano could descend, Razil lunged for the Sapphire Stars. He pierced through Yano's protective sphere, reached out for them, and touched their frosty surface. On contact, they instantly shrunk into tiny gemstones, and the god allowed them to fall into his hands. Taking a swift breath, Razil placed the soulful gems into his own eyes. "Not everyone is selfish, Yano," he whispered and snapped his eyes shut. He dreamed of a better world, visualizing a brighter future. When he opened them again, a titanic explosion triggered a chain of supernovas. A great huge bang. Bright magenta, neon purple, and turquoise engulfed the sky in a brilliant brief mural, then flushed away. Nothing left but stardust floating on gravity waves. Old, miserable life dissipated in the blink of an eye. The sapphire stardust, which ended it all in an instant, floated out into the voids of space, a sparkling trail that waited for the opportune time to begin life once more in hopes of a better universe than the last.